Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your beautiful faces back to the channel. Now, a very special video for you guys today. We are going to be looking at my favourite opening, which is the Scotch Opening, okay? A very sophisticated, in-depth, knowledgeable opening. But we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I'm not just going to sit here and show you guys all the theory. Like, am I trying to put you guys to sleep? No. I'm trying to have you stick around for as long as possible. So I'm not just going to show you all the theory. I mean, I'll go over it briefly at the start of the video. But the main crux of this video is going to be me showing you guys two games I've played in the Scotch Opening. So you can actually see it in practice, see how it works, see what the positions look like, and see me absolutely cooking some fools, okay? So if you do go on to enjoy this video, smash a like, subscribe if you're new, leave some comments down below. But guys, without further ado, the Scotch Opening, if you are new to it, starts with e4, e5, knight f3 and knight c6, okay? So we have seen this position a million times in so many different openings. This is nothing new to our, very knowledgeable minds. But here, in this position, white wants to play the move d4, right? So you're instantly just taking over the centre, attacking the middle of the board. And it does look a little bit strange, because you're probably thinking, well, they can just take the d4 pawn. So it's like, why are we putting it in the centre? Because we're not really locking it down if they can just take, right? Well, the thing is, we actually want them to take this pawn. Okay, like, if they take with the pawn or with the knight, that's fine. That's kind of what we're anticipating. Most commonly, what you're going to come up against is the e-pawn capturing on d4 first, okay? And then here, there's a couple of ways you can go about. You can actually play bishop c4 right away and go for the Scotch Gambit, but that is a little bit too advanced, I'm thinking. So we're going to stick with this move, knight takes on d4, okay? And most commonly, what you'll come up against here is actually a bit of a mistake. Because the most natural looking move for black here is just knight takes knight, and it's actually a mistake. I mean, you'll see the eval bar flying up to plus 0.5 for white. And that's because after you take the knight in the centre of the board, with the queen, you now literally just have a queen in the middle of the board that is not easy for black to kick away. So you have your most powerful piece. You have your most powerful piece controlling the entirety of the board. Right, and it's not easy for black to kick the queen away. Like, you can play this move c5, but I'll just show you guys, like, look at the eval bar. Stockfish absolutely hates it, because after queen d3, it's like, well, black, what's your plan now? Right, like, you have to move your d-pawn. If you just sort of get your knight out, well, then we can actually just, push the pawn. We can play e5, or we can just start developing our own pieces. Like, it's so uncomfortable for black. So instead of c5, what they might play here is, they might develop the knight. But like we just looked at, e5 is then the move. Okay, and if black doesn't find this move c5 counter-attacking you, and if they do, you just play queen to e3, then their knight is just going to have to go all the way back to g8, and it's like, well, why did I even get that out to begin with? You know what I mean? So it is really tricky for black to play. The most common move here, and the best move, is actually queen to f6. And what did we do when the knight was here? Well, we just pushed our pawns. We're going to do exactly that. Okay, you don't just want to take this queen, because then they sort of get their knight into the game with a tempo. And after you play a move like e5, they just play like knight g4, and things get a bit uncomfortable. So definitely don't take the queen here, okay? Just push the pawn. And then black has to find the only move, which is queen b6, which isn't easy to find at all. And in this position, you just take, and then a move, I don't know, like bishop c4, or knight c3, bishop f4, bishop d3. Like, there are so many options. You now just get your pieces out. Okay, so it is really just that simple. Okay? Apologies for my voice. I was at a football game last night, and my word, I woke up with the most sore throat in the world. Like, I am struggling to speak. But guys, we've got the boring theory out the way. Let's now jump into two absolutely chef kisses of games. Okay, so game number one. Now, as we all know, Scotch Opening starts with e4. So of course I play that, because if I didn't, this wouldn't be featured in a Scotch Opening video. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and then d4. We're just taking the centre. And like I said to you guys, what you're most commonly going to come up against is pawn takes pawn, which is exactly what was played in this game. And so, like I said, we then just recapture with the knight. Obviously here, you can recapture with the queen if you hate yourself. If you just if you're just looking to just throw away all your elo, I definitely recommend taking with the queen here and just completely hanging your queen. That is what I recommend. But if you're actually looking to gain some elo, take with the knight, okay? Let's be cool about it. My opponent then recaptured, which again is already really a mistake. Like, in this position, you just sort of want to be getting your pieces out. Like, I don't know, like go for like this classical variation with bishop c5. But my opponent does just take, so I of course recapture with the queen. And guys, we explored one of the most common misconceptions here, which is knight f6. My opponent does play it, so of course I play the move e5. You know, a man of culture. I'm a man of the people. If I tell you guys something, I'm going to follow up on it, okay? My opponent here finds the move queen to e7. And basically the idea here from them is, I now can't take this knight because of the pin. So my logic was, okay, I'll just play bishop e2 and then I'll block this pin. Your knight is now in trouble, right? And then my opponent played the beautiful looking knight to g8. So it's like, man, what the hell was the point in me getting my knight out? You know, if I'm my opponent, it just looks so ugly. The knight has to go all the way back. So here I just start developing my pieces, very natural looking, like I said. Outside of like the first 7 moves, that's when you just want to start flooding the board, bringing all your pieces out. Like, you know, get the knight out, get the bishops out, get castled, bring the rooks to the centre. Just like all openings, really. Opponent here plays the move d6. Now, I calculated the move knight to d5, which is exactly what Stockfish wants. But the reason I didn't play it was because I sort of just thought, well, what am I doing if you just slide your queen forwards, you know? But after knight d5, like queen e6, it actually just wants, of course, this. And for some reason, me being 1600 elo, I just completely missed that. Or I just sort of thought to myself, what do I do if you just go queen d8? Well, in that case, I can then just take, right? Like, it's not as complicated as I'm making out, but I didn't play knight to d5, I just castled. And you're going to see Stockfish is going to get me in an absolute headlock here. And absolutely despise my entire existence. That's on me, okay? I shouldn't have castled. I should have kept the tempos going, keep attacking, because I allow my opponent just to take on e5 now for free. But that isn't an issue with the Scotch Opening. That's an issue with me being an absolute goober. I then go queen d1 because it was just so difficult to find a square for my queen. Like, I was just sort of thinking, like, well, number one, I don't want to be blocking in my dark square bishop from developing, right? Number two, I don't want to be able to just be hit with a tempo, so I don't want to go over to this light square, can't go over here, these squares are blocked. I didn't want to just sit in front of this pawn because I thought this might be an option. So I just thought, I'm going to go all the way back. You know, I'm down a pawn, my development looks a bit better, I'm already castled, let's play ball, okay? Opponent goes bishop to e6, I then play this move bishop to f3, opponent plays queen to d6, which just looks so ugly, doesn't it? It looks so ugly for so many reasons, but primarily, like, this is hanging, so I could literally just take and then take on b7, for example. But I didn't, I played the move queen e2, I just moved out the way. And you'll see so many times Stockfish is looking to get me in a headlock. And that's because I didn't just want to show you guys games where I'm playing unbelievably well at 100% accuracy. I wanted to show you guys a game where I use the opening, it gets me in great positions, and I'm just not capitalizing. But I trust you guys would be able to. Far better than I can, that's for sure. Opponent here, long castles, which is a bit of an insane move. It just looks ridiculous. So I just bring my other bishop to the game, okay? Look at this bishop pair right now. It just looks unbelievable. My rook is ready to come over to the centre and just start attacking the queen. My queen's ready to fly up here and put some pressure. Like, it just looks great, right? And my opponent here plays the move king to b8. Which just looks astoundingly horrible, doesn't it? Because of the move, of course, rook to d1. Which is exactly what I play. And now it's looking, uh-oh, spaghetti-o, the game might be over for my opponent. They played a move queen e7, which looks extremely natural, right? You just want to defend the rook, of course. But now the queen comes into the game. Activate everything, okay? Like, look at this for an attack. What the hell do you do in this position other than just simply bawl your eyes out? Well, my opponent doesn't bawl their eyes out, and they do in fact take the rook on d1, so I of course recapture. And in this position, they play the move queen to b4. And you can see there's a mate in 3 on the board. It's not that easy to find. But of course I found it. And it starts with rook d8, ignoring this queen completely. I don't want any trouble, okay? And you're probably thinking, well, they just block, and you literally have no attack. What are you talking about? If you think that, I'm sorry, right? But clearly you need to do some more puzzles, because I can actually just sacrifice the rook! And my opponent then takes, and then of course it is checkmate on e8. So, an absolutely horrific middle game, right? But the opening set me up so well, and that's why I wanted to showcase this with you, because I had winning chances like 3 or 4 times before I eventually got there in the end. And that's all because of the positions you get from the Scotch Opening. But ladies and gentlemen, game number 2, okay? First game I showed you was just about showing you, introducing you to the Scotch Opening, and then showing some cool tactics with you. This is like robotic stuff, though, what you're about to watch, okay? This is like 100% accuracy, which I said I wasn't going to show you, but, you know, I got some blunders out the way so you could laugh at me. Now it's time to show that I am secretly Stockfish. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and d4. We're very familiar with this by now. Opponent takes the pawn, knight takes and knight takes. This is why I was showing you this, because nobody's playing the classical variation whereby, you know, playing like a move like takes, and then the move bishop c5. Nobody is playing this. Say hypothetically somebody does play this against you, go knight b3, okay? Just to immediately attack the bishop, they'll drop back, but then you can just start developing, get castled. It's really simple stuff, okay? Don't be scared of the move bishop to c5, but everyone is going to take the knight, you recapture, and my opponent here plays the move queen to f6. So this is the best move, okay? I shared this with you at the start, and I told you guys to still play this move e5, okay? Because your opponent would then have to find the only move, queen b6. And of course my opponent doesn't find it, because who the hell finds that? They find the move queen to queen g6, sorry. Not queen to b6. And so here I just start developing, okay? Knight to c3. Just bringing my pieces into the game. My opponent takes on c2, but this I didn't see as an issue because of the move bishop to d3. And here I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was sort of dancing around my bedroom, like ripping my clothes off, celebrating. I've won the queen, the game's over, give me that free elo. My opponent finds an absolutely beautiful defensive resource, which was so impressive, completely missed it. Bishop to c5. What? I was looking at this, I returned to my desk after stripping butt naked celebrating, and just thought to myself, well, that was a bit premature. What the hell have I done? You know, because the only move here for me to maintain any semblance of an advantage is to take on c5, okay? And you might be thinking, oh, well, what about like queen e4? Look at the eval bar, okay? It's horrifying, because then they can take on f2 and things get very, very scary, okay? So I thought to myself, oh my god, I can't let this happen. So I took the bishop. I found the only move, okay? Thank God for that. And then my opponent can, of course, take on d3. And so they're not down a bishop, they're only down one, or I'm down one pawn, I should say, but I'm just so developed, it's beautiful stuff. But again, the only move here for me to keep any advantage at all is the move knight to d5. And it's not easy to find in this position, so unfortunately I do find it! And look at everything that I'm threatening. We're threatening checkmate. Okay, well, we're not because the knight's there, but say hypothetically this knight accidentally slipped over, had an injury, and had to go to hospital, then we'd be threatening checkmate. We're also threatening this deadly-looking fork, or just taking with the queen even, is great. And my opponent here, unfortunately, plays the move queen to e4. I mean, why they played this, I honestly have no idea. I play bishop e3. They just allow me to develop my own piece into the game to block this check. And it's like, sure, take my knight if you want. Like, I don't understand the logic here in the slightest. But, each to their own. My opponent here, of course, plays the move c6. Which is absolutely horrible because it just hangs a fork. I mean, guys, if you're below 1600 elo watching this, you must be, like, fuming. Like, how the hell am I not 1600 elo? How is he playing these people? I have no idea. I don't know where I find these people, but they're not real, okay? Opponent plays king to d8, so I of course just take the rook. I mean, why wouldn't I just take the rook? My opponent then plays the move b6, lashing out, attacking my queen. And here, you know, there's a few... I guess I could just castle, I could bring my rook over to the centre, or I could just deliver mate in one, which is exactly what I do. Because my knight covers this c7 square, queen covers all this, it's beautiful stuff. I bet you weren't expecting that. Like, this is how dominating the Scotch can be. And I'm playing against 1600s. Like, these are more than competent people. And they're just getting absolutely destroyed, like, wiped off the board. It's insane. So, guys, please add this to your repertoire. Like the video if you made it this far. I would greatly appreciate it. Comment down below. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.